Well, I don't know what the fuck happened, but this Eastwood roll-on primer turned out raggedy shit.
Emotional, damn it!
Alright guys, we're back out here. I'm about to start sanding this bad boy. So basically just going to take the block to these quarter panels, maybe the doors as well. I'm going to try to get this all ready to go ahead and put some epoxy down on. So I'm not doing a, perfect sand or anything like that, but I want to make sure to get all the gloss coat off of the E-coat and all that good stuff so I can get it all in one nice little, white roll-on Eastwood setup. So, I mean, use what I got because, that's why I bought this paint to begin with. That way I can get it clean and do as least amount of spray paint as possible to kind of cut down on some of the dust and stuff. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. Let's do it. Alright, as you saw, we got a lot of things sanded down and ready for primer. A couple little areas. I found a low spot right there on the door. Obviously, I need to sand that back down. And I also filled in a bunch of the little pinholes from the welding on the edges. So we'll have to get that smoothed back out before the primer. All in all, things look good. Took care of the rockers. They still had the old paint on them, so we went through and cleaned those up. Got a little bit of the red oxide on there. That's from weld through primer. So a little bit more to do. I need to get my bumper back off so I can take these end caps off and sand down these areas so that it can be painted too. And I need to fill in this a little bit. It's oddly smooth, even though you can see the little low spots where I've been hammering that down. I had to hammer and dolly this a little bit because it was bent up from where I had to make some adjustments. So, but all in all, everything's looking good. Almost ready for primer on the back half, that is. I haven't done anything with the fenders, but yeah, probably about to get this bumper off and the end caps off, and see, I might even go ahead and get those, take the paint off of those. So alright, got the bumper off, went and got all the paint off of these other than just the little bottom section. Got a little bit there. I didn't even touch that side yet, so still got to work on that, but for the most part she's nice and dirty again. I went and wiped her off one more time. Got to wipe off the back side as well. I'm not going to primer that because I already did that. That's already got black epoxy primer on it. So Still need to work on that. Probably need to get some sanding done, like I said, in here and behind these to get those prepped, but it's good enough for a day's work. Later. Hey everybody, we're back out here. Been a little under the weather, so I'm not getting as much done as I had hoped. I was hoping I'd be out here doing some primer work today, but I still need to do some more blocking. Mostly here on the door. I just need to get this block down and get this little area level. There's an indent right there, and then there's some pinholes from the welding on the extra on the edge over here. So that's what I'm about to work on. All right, we'll call that a day. But we got it all leveled out except for a couple little spots. I'm trying to get my straight line right here. So I put a little bit more here, and I'm gonna take a nice, I'm gonna use this little metal bar to kind of sand that smooth and get that edge back, because it was a little wonky here at the ends where I had to weld on pieces. Same thing down here. So I put a little bit more there so I can try to get that straight line back. So, but other than that, sanded down, pretty happy with all the trunk lid now. I got this where it's nice and smooth and not a little indent right there. I do need to clear out the Mustang lettering holes, but we sanded a little bit back here. The seam sealer does not sand well, but everything's got to be cleaned, and then we'll put some epoxy on it. But we need to let everything dry, especially the Bondo. That way we don't have any issues. So that will be all for the day. Unfortunately, that means I won't be getting my Tuesday video out with this thing epoxy, which is not cool, but that's the way it goes sometimes. I was sick this weekend, like I said, so I didn't get much work done yesterday in general. So that one day kind of screwed me over. But so far so good. Hey everybody, we're back out here. About to start cleaning the car off a little bit. I came out here yesterday and I wiped it down with just some warm water, and then I went ahead and did the oil and grease remover. So we got it all cleaned up. I'm about to take some tack cloth to it as well to make sure we don't have any leftover residue. Not quite done with the door, so I'm probably not going to paint this driver's side door. I've got it somewhat where I want it. I've been having some issues just trying to get this line straight. If you remember, I had to put on a good over a 1/4 inch, and it was a little wavy with the line for probably from my metal working. Same thing down here. Almost got it. Got the line straighter than it was, but my buddy's going to come over tomorrow and we're going to get that finished up. So I'll probably prime everything from this door back on this side, and I'll do the door on the other side as well. So we'll get this all one color essentially, and then we can start worrying about the other parts. I'll probably also go ahead and get my trunk lid primed as well. Pretty happy with how it's turned out. But yeah, so we're about to get the tack cloth and get to work. It's a nice Nashville day. It's It's been 60 degrees all week. And as you saw, I've got a hat on because it is 26 degrees out. I've been sick all week, fighting all this stuff, and it's been beautiful outside. And now we're to the weekend and it's 26 degrees with a high of 35. So my heater's been on the garage all night, making sure we had the right temperature in this garage to do all this work. So I don't want to put primer on here and have it 20 degrees in here. So I'll be running the heat all weekend and running my bills up. So let's get to it. All right, we rolled on our first coat. It's not perfect. I'll tell you, it is a little susceptible to runs because it is kind of just one. I mean, you're painting with a roller, and especially when you get around these edges and try to get that stuff in there. You probably should start with the edges first, kind of like you start with your corners and your top line with doing your housework. So, but it does seem, as long as you catch the runs pretty early, that you can roll it right back out. So not a huge deal, but I mean, it's going to cause some issues, but it's just so easy to do, just to roll this stuff on. And I know it's supposed to flatten out afterwards. So this is my first coat. I'm going to definitely put a second coat on. I spilled it all over the place over here, so I did not get my deck lid. So still got to do that, but I'll probably wait until I get to the second coat on this. So I'm going to let this sit for a little bit longer, let it dry a little bit, get tacky, because it's still pretty wet. Probably should, read the instructions and see what it says about how long between coats. But for the most part, I mean, your first coat's not going to get everything. I just going over it, looking for runs before I worry about it. But even with this white, you can see I got a little bit of a ding right there. Right here, I can see that there's a little bend in the door. So it's, even with the white, it kind of lets some stuff stick out a little more than your black paint. So it's pretty cool. But look at those. Smooth. I don't see any major issues there. So pretty happy. So, all right, on to the next coat here in a few. All right, we've got two coats on here. I'm not sure about this stuff. It does great on flat areas, on tops and so on, it seems. Or maybe it's just, it needs to cure. But I've got a ton of runs. I came back over here, everything was looking good, but now I see runs all over the place. So that's concerning. I think vertical areas that might have some issues. You see it here too. So definitely going to have to sand this stuff down, but either way, we've got it epoxy coated. That just kind of sucks, but maybe it'll flatten out. I don't know. I had really good luck with it on the roof, but I was questioning it on the roof too. So maybe it flattens out. Maybe I'm just freaking out over it, but I kind of doubt it. So I'll have to block this out, and then we'll put a high build on top of it. But either way, at least we got a nice white epoxy coat all over the car. You know, from a distance, it definitely looks good. So it's starting to look like an actual car. So we'll see. I didn't do this area because I still got to weld this piece in, so I didn't want to mess with that. But yeah, like I said, there's just some weirdness going on here. But, you know, it's Eastwood roll-on primer. It's like house paint, I guess. You can't. What do you expect? You're going to get some runs and some stuff like that. So we'll block it out, and then we'll top coat it either way. So, I mean, that was a plan either way we were going. But definitely was hoping for it to smooth out a lot better than that. We'll see tomorrow after it's, you know, set 24 hours to cure. So yeah, my buddy's going to come over here tomorrow. We're going to work on this door, so I might put some primer on the door afterwards. So, all right, that's all for the day. Well, I don't know what the fuck happened, but this Eastwood roll-on primer turned out raggedy shit. I got runs everywhere, and it went on smoothly. I mean, the door doesn't look half bad. A couple spots here and there with the runs, but Jesus, this just went like crazy how bad. I don't know what happened. This side looks a lot better. Maybe I got the mixture wrong, but down here and over here got pretty bad. I just don't know what happened, man. Because everything looked good when it went on. Same thing here. I put 2 coats on here. It didn't turn out too bad, but you can still see some of the runs. Fucking nuts. But nothing sanding can't do. So we got it epoxy coated one way or another. Just sucks. Well, guys, we got the primer on it. As you probably saw, it did not go well, especially on the other side. I don't know if I just rushed it. It is cold out. I've had it 70 degrees in the garage for a day before this just to kind of get everything good, but maybe it didn't flash or cure quick enough. It says 30 minutes before the second coat. It was probably still tacky, and maybe that's what caused all my runs. Maybe I just got too ahead of myself. I don't know. It only happened on the one side the way it did, but it's either way, I'm going to have to take the DA and probably, you know, get some rough grit and kind of smooth it out. And then we'll put some high build on top of it and, you know, go from there with the block and all that good stuff. So we'll see. So there probably won't be an episode next weekend or next week because, well, I'll probably just be sanding. And I've got to let this stuff sit, I believe, for 4 to 5 days to fully cure. So I kind of got to wait before I do anything there. I might find some other things to do. I do have an exhaust system on the way, so that's going to be fun to try to get these shorty headers matched up to a Flowmaster exhaust with Super 44s. So I have some work to do there. I've got the gas line to run still, so maybe I'll do some work there while we wait for this primer to really finish out. I do have some the edges of this door to get finished too. Probably going to do the fenders and the end caps and everything else in aerosol. I'll probably get some 2K urethane and do those because I don't know. I don't want to go through this again and have to sand it all down smooth again when, you know, with the aerosol can you're going to get some really good results. Should have done that, but I've had that kit laying around and that's what I used on the roof. So I was like, you know, let's continue on throughout the car with the same epoxy, but I guess it wasn't my time to use it. So, I mean, it happens. It could be worse. I mean, yet again, it's primer. It is epoxy, so it's going to be a little hard to sand down. But, you know, it's a car. This happens. But, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you want to see, guys. We got to get this build going. I've got a couple months. June is when the Hot Rod Power Tour is, so I need to probably start painting this car in the next month or two. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do in this shop too. My last shop had a lot more room. I mean, I got some good room in here, but I got to figure out where I'll be able to put, you know, my fenders, and I'll probably paint with the doors on. But the fenders will be painted separately. The trunk lid will be painted separately. So I got to figure out where's the best area to get everything situated. I might have to do some modifications. I might have to bust this whole wall down. I really wanted to do that anyways. So we'll figure that out too. But we'll see you soon.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the